name is Callan Bentley. I teach geology at Piedmont, Virginia Community College, and I'm in Wisconsin at a place called Rock Spring Quarry in the Baraboo Hills. I'm here with a group of structural geologists, and we're taking a look at this very distinctive light-colored rock that makes up the quarry walls high up behind me. It's called the Baraboo Quartzite. And one of the first things we're trying to do is figure out which way is up in these rocks. So are these rocks in their original depositional orientation? Spoiler alert, they are not. And if they are not, then which way did they get younger in? Well, here's a surface that actually provides the answer to that conundrum. So you'll see here that this is a vertical surface, and it's covered with these little ridges. And these ridges, if you think, aha, I know what those are ripples. You are correct. However, it's more subtle than that. You'll notice that the pointier part is actually recessed into the face of the rock. And then there's these relatively broad flat areas that are actually poking out in the modern day. And that's actually the opposite of what we would expect if these were actual 3D ripples that were facing out. Like if we were looking down on a modern bedding surface, the opposite would be true. And so what we're doing here in this perspective is we're actually looking up at the bottom of an ancient bed. And somebody's actually drawn on here with Sharpie, and they've noted that these are asymmetric. The steep face is shorter than the more gently sloped face. So that's a neat way to actually read ancient current direction out of these outcrops as well. Here's another location called Point of Rocks, and these are ripple marks here, very similar to what we saw back at the very first quarry. And you can see these, long sides to the ripple and the short sides with the nice pointy crest, and then in between these concavities. And on that first outcrop, remember, this was the part that was poking out, and this was the part that was poking in. So this bed that we're looking at here is upright, but if you imagine looking at it in reverse, then you get a situation like we saw back at the first quarry. The reason this question is important is if this is the bottom of these beds, then that implies something about the overall structure of the region, the Baraboo Hills. It implies that the area is overall an anticline, whereas if these are the tops of the beds, then it implies that the area overall is a syncline. Cross beds are a nice way up indicator. They're a little bit more solid than ripple marks. So what would be really nice to see is on our way to the next stop, which is a famous location, is to look for something that's not ripples but cross beds and cross section, and look for tangential bottoms to those beds and truncated upper surfaces. And that would be a surefire way of indicating which way is up. So behind me here is another really amazing site, not too far from Rock Springs Quarry. This is Hise Rock. And, from this perspective, it's maybe not as impressive as the quarry that we were just at. But if you walk around it, you get to see some pretty amazing stuff. One thing you can see here is crossbedding. So we've got a tangential bottom to the crossbed and a truncated top, and that allows us to restore the crossbeds to their original depositional orientation, right way up, and that allows us to say conclusively that paleo up is to the south. Hise Rock shows 2 layers of quartzite, one on each side, and then a layer of more philitic quartzite, so in other words, more clay-rich in the middle. And you'll notice that that middle layer is really, really flaky. It's got a pronounced cleavage. That's a pressure solution cleavage. And the relationship between that cleavage and the bedding that we can see so obviously with the compositional changes, that is what makes this place so special. So let's try and follow the logic here. We have upright bedding, and then this central clay-rich layer has a strong cleavage. So let's add some annotations on here so we can keep track of those. The relationship between bedding and cleavage actually tells us about neighboring folding. So if we zoom out, that cleavage is an axial plane cleavage to these folds, so it fans out around the axis of the folds. That means there's a syncline below the surface, and there's an anticline that's been eroded away that used to be above the surface. This is the place where that idea that the relationship between bedding and cleavage in a small outcrop can tell you about larger scale structures that you can't even see in that outcrop was first utilized. And the guy who came up with it was Charles Van Hise. He was a professor of structural geology at the University of Wisconsin and later president of the University of Wisconsin. And so this rock is called Van Hise Rock in his honor. It's a sort of site of pilgrimage for a structural geologist like me. I've been teaching about this site for more than 2 decades now, and I'm really glad that I finally got the chance to visit it in person. So let's summarize here based on both the primary sedimentary structures that are facing indicators or paleo up indicators and the structural relationships between bedding and cleavage. We can deduce that the Baraboo Hills are in fact a giant syncline. Now the locations that we just visited were on the north side of that syncline where the bedding is very steep, vertical or just slightly past vertical. But we're going to go next to some locations on the south side of the syncline where the bedding dips more gently and there's greater outcrop area as a result of that shallow dip. Well, now I'm at a different location. This is a quarry, a private quarry. So I have permission to be here, but you don't. So don't come here without contacting the operation that runs this place. But if you look up here, you can see an expression of something that's really amazing and foundational to this region. And that is the Great Unconformity. So the lower part of that cliff up there is Precambrian rock, Mesoproterozoic Baraboo Quartzite, like we were just looking at the previous location. But on top of that, you can see some sort of bouldery rubble, and that bouldery rubble is the base of the Cambrian. And if you trace the view over here to this direction, you can see these flat-lying layers right up here at the top of the cliff. Those are part of the local Cambrian sandstone. And then as you look over this way, you can see those sandstone layers in an almost horizontal orientation on top of the dipping layers of the Baraboo Quartzite. So you could call this an angular unconformity because it's the sedimentary layers are at an angle to one another. But you could also call it a nonconformity because the Baraboo Quartzite is not a sedimentary rock. It's a metamorphic rock at this point. It's been metamorphosed at significant temperatures, hundreds of degrees. And just around the corner here, there's a spot where you can see Paleo-topography, an ancient island, where the Baraboo Quartzite was poking up and then it was being weathered and shedding off boulders, and those boulders accumulated on its flanks, and then eventually as sea level rose, sand was deposited all over the whole thing. And that is paleotopography preserved in the geologic record, which is pretty cool. Here's a spot where it's really well expressed. So down below at the bottom of the quarry where you've got a person to serve as sense of scale, you can see the layers of the Baraboo Quartzite dipping moderately off to the right. And then if you go up to the top of it, you've got these areas of breccia. These are, breakdown breccias that formed, I guess, in the Cambrian. And here is another example of that where you can see these thick, multi-meter thick piles of boulders. The boulders are made out of Baraboo Quartzite. On this breakdown pile here, you can see this is actually some of that boulder breccia close up. So here's a clast of the Baraboo Quartzite, but it's within the Cambrian sandstone. And if you come over on this side, you can see there's a couple of really nice big burgundy looking clasts surrounded by the younger creamy colored Cambrian material. And then overlying it is the flat lying, or more gently dipping, I guess I should say, sedimentary layers of sandstone that are part of the Cambrian succession. So this is the transgression of the Sauk Sea which is the first of the 6 major Phanerozoic slough sequences that are very well recorded in this part of the continent. Right here, if you zoom in on the middle part, you can see a zone where there's sort of a boxy little zone of breccia, and that probably represents an ancient canyon, an ancient zone where the Baraboo Quartzite broke along bedding and along the joint sets, and it was a topographic hollow that then filled with boulders before being buried underneath the sandy waves of the Sauk Sea. Here's an example of some of these ripples, and this is what we were inferring at the first quarry, although these ones appear to be, yeah, actually these have the same thing. This is the bottom of a sandstone bed. So you got these crisp little hinges here, and then these sort of little concave swales in between, but we're looking at the bottom of that. So these are inverted, and that way is up. Another set of ripples, this one more complicated, and we've got apparently some interference patterns going on. So down here in the lower right, you've got an area where they're running left to right. And then if you go up towards this part, they're, running top to bottom. And then you've got this sort of pebbly surface in between where they seem to be intersecting. And you go along the rib and it's got little subribs that run across it. Right here, we've spotted some slicken lines, slicken fibers, and these are the mineral pyrophyllite. And you can see that there's sort of a left-right orientation to the sense of slip here. So this bedding plane was reactivated as a fault surface. And if you run your hand over it this way, it feels smooth. And if you run your hand over it this way, it kind of catches a bit. Here's another place where you can see the Great Unconformity. This is Devil's Lake State Park. And so these rocks right here are the Baraboo Quartzite, and you can see it's sort of blocky and jointed up to about right here, and then you can see it gets kind of rubbly. And then above that, there is the Cambrian section. So these rocks here are, 1 billion years younger than the metamorphic age of these rocks here. Here's a closer look at some of the breccia you see at the base of the sandstone unit here. So we've got lots of clasts of Baraboo Quartzite of many different shapes and sizes, some of them very big. This one here is so big I can't even get it all in the frame, but you can see like some of that Mesoproterozoic crossbedding running up the middle there. And then as we come around over here, you can see that bouldery layer gets into a gravelly layer, and then it's just sand, 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 as the Sauk Sea swamps this site and buries the ancient Mesoproterozoic rocks under Cambrian-aged sand deposits. So one more example of it here. We're in the massive Baraboo Quartzite, and you can see that continues up the face of this cliff up to that surface right there, and that is the Great Unconformity. And then above it, you can see the bouldery layers that are at the base of the Cambrian section. And a lot of those boulders still have their original 3D shapes, and they're re-weathering out in the modern day. One more really neat feature here, you could even go so far as to say it is groovy, is this little notch that you see, which looks like a modern day cave. This is Baraboo Quartzite. This is Baraboo Quartzite. Up above it is the boulder breccia that's at the base of the Cambrian section. And then if you go into the cave here, you can see that the base of the boulders suddenly drops down to a deeper level, and presumably originally went down here too, but has been etched out, and then it pops up again over on this side. So this is actually an ancient cleft in the Baraboo Quartzite that existed during the Cambrian and was filled with boulders then, and is now being etched out anew as a declivity in the cliff face.